No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
And here we are again. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. And happy Valentine's Day to all of you out there who have hearts, big red hearts on your chest today. And you're ready to rumble. At least I hope you are. I mean, today is the day about love, right? I have this thing I read this morning. It goes, how did the fire fall in love? It found the perfect match. So I hope that all of you found the perfect match and you're in love and you're going to express it to the individual that you're with. I tell you, I used to love Valentine's Day. When I had my offices open up in Los Angeles, and every Valentine's we would send our staff down to the flower district and we would get dozens and dozens and dozens of red roses and put them in the lobby of our office. And every client that came in, the woman was able to take one rose with her. Sometimes two, sometimes three. Because we had so much. We had so many roses. So on Valentine's Day was always a busy day in our office because everybody found out that we were giving out roses. So they would all book on that day. And we would have tons of clients on that day. Our office lobby would be absolutely filled with tax clients. So everybody knew, and we did that for years and years and years. And people knew that was going to happen. They got ready. They got ready for it. They brought in food for all of us. We had so much food that sometimes we had to toss it out because it was just too much. We just couldn't eat that much. But that's love, right? That's love of your clients and love for your clients. And the other aspect of it is love within our families, love within our soulmates that we've chosen in our lives. So today's Valentine's Day. Everybody have a great Valentine's Day. Go out there and make love, okay? That's all I ask. Forget about business. Forget about taxes. Make love. I have a concern because, as you know, this is a business podcast, so we're going to talk about business. We're not going to be lovey-dovey all day. I have a concern about how President Biden chooses individuals to serve in his government. The problem is, as what we have seen so far, is that the individuals that he has chosen do not know what they're doing. They have no experience in that industry. They have no experience in leadership. They have no experience whatsoever. And so today, the president has announced that he's going to hire a new head of his economic council. And this individual, I'm not going to mention her name or anything. Oh, I already said her, right? Well, too bad. I'm not going to mention the name because I don't think that's fair. But I have to tell you this, that she comes from the Federal Reserve. And I don't think that right now is the best time to be hiring people from the Federal Reserve because look what they've done with inflation. They have made inflation and the recession last longer and longer and longer. They have not made good decisions. I doubt very, very much that this individual is not going to give good economic advice. When you hire from the government, you're going to get government results. When you hire from outside, you get new and bright ideas on how to deal with the situation that we're in at the moment. You see, when you're down, when the economy's bad, you hire people who's going to think better, not government thought process, a policy and all this other nonsense. No, you think about, okay, what is happening within the economy and how do I resolve it? What's the best way I can advise the president on resolving it? A government policy is not the way to approach it. You have to think of it as a business. And that's one thing that we need to think more about this country is that it's a business. It has too much debt on its books. It has too much inflation. It has too much spending. It has too much government overreach. I was reading so that is my final comment on that, is that if you're going to hire an economic advisor to head the economic council, hire someone from outside the government, because that's how you're going to get some results. Now, I was interested in reading and all these are linked below, okay? But the Siemens CEO, he made a statement, and I think I agree with him. He says, we need a bureaucracy reduction act, which means that we need to start reducing the bureaucracy of what governments place upon businesses. It is so many rules and regulations on hiring and not hiring and firing and technology and all the other aspects of business, compliance with all of the government regulations. It's just really a lot, especially if the larger you get, the more compliance that you have to deal with. So you wonder why why companies leave the United States and go to a country where it's less oppressive, less tax, less bureaucracy, less red tape. And that is the reason why a lot of companies are leaving the United States, is because it's just so hard to deal or operate a business here when you have to hire a whole bunch of compliance people to keep you in compliance. So I agree with the Siemens CEO that says we need a bureaucracy reduction act. I agree with that. So let's get to it. Now, the other thing that I'm really pissed about is I'm so pissed off at Biden at the moment. I like him as a person. I think he's fine. But his management and his decision-making skills are the worst, because he's getting the worst advice ever. Biden is going to sell another 26 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Announce that. Why? Because he's trying to drive down gas prices for the summer. I hate to tell you this. If an emergency came along and we got into a war, the government does not have enough oil reserves to support that war. It does not have enough oil reserves to support an emergency. So he is falsely trying to bring down the oil prices, but at the same time creating a national security issue because we don't have the oil to support any type of an emergency. This is very serious. Because when you take the oil out and sell it at lower costs, you are doing economic damage, but you're also doing the national security damage, because we don't have enough oil to support anything that should happen to the United States. Very bad decision-making process. I think I'm kind of tired of it all, because we have really bad decisions coming out of the White House. And all those decisions are affecting our personal finances, our personal economies that we have to manage ourselves within our households. So we have a problem with a president who knows nothing about business, who knows nothing about the economy. So his decision-making process is a political one and not a serious economic one. Because he doesn't understand it. He doesn't know how it goes. So we have to take very serious consideration on how our government is run. And the problem is that a lot of us Americans just sit by, hoping that something good is going to come along at some point in time, and we don't voice our opinions about how the economy is being run and managed at the moment. Get off our backs. Let us go out and create jobs. Let us go out and create new companies and new products and services. But get off our backs with all the bureaucracy, with all of the taxation, with all of everything whatever else that you pour on our wounds as small business or even as big business. We need to really tell government, hey, stand back. You don't know what you're doing. Let us do what we know best. And that is how to create good jobs, good paying jobs, good products, good services. But when we have to worry about being woke and we have to be about being political correct and we have to do all this other stuff, we are just destroying ourselves as businesses. So we have to be very, very careful about what's going on. And you have to be more alert. Watch what's going on. Read the articles I post below. Because we need to be informed every single day about what the government is doing to hinder our lives with inflation, with recession, with tactics to hurt business. We have to be aware. We have to be alert. But what is today? Today is Valentine's Day. Today is the day that you go out and you say to someone, I love you. You say to someone, you know what? You're the best thing that ever happened in my life. You tell that individual that, you know what? Being in love with you is the best gift I ever got in my life. Go out there. Tell them that you love them. Tell your children that you love them. Even your office mates. You know what? Hey, say, hey, love you. Valentine's Day. I can say that. Sometimes we forget about love, right? I know I do. I get involved in my world and I get involved in my business and I tend to forget about love a lot of times. Because, you know, when you're single and you live alone and you're with your dog and you're always wondering what's going to happen tomorrow. And when you're always wondering what's going to happen tomorrow, you forget about love. A lot of times, because you get so involved in the problem solving, in answering questions, in trying to help people, that you oftentimes forget about the love part of life. I know I have. I'm guilty of it. 100% guilty of it. But today is the day that you tell someone that you love them. And on this Valentine's Day, we can solve a lot of problems with a lot of love. All these disputes, all of this hate, all of this warmongering, all of this whatever else that's negative in life, we can solve a lot by just saying, hey, I love you. Thanks for everything. Listen, if you want to have more access to me, you can go to my website at www.lodge.co.com. And if you would like to ask a business question, just send it to thebusinessadviaor@gmail.com. Listen, it's Valentine's Day. Love you all, you guys. I love you. Bye-bye.